Hi, everyone. I hope you guys are well. Hmm. All right, so tonight I'm going to be relaying messages from the Arcturians that I received the last 2 days. And they told me I had to go live tonight because they're not going to give me, there's too many downloads, they said, that are pending, that are in queue. So what they said was we need to get up there, hop on, and share these downloads, and then more will trickle in. It's been really interesting working with the Arcturians the last week. They only give me messages after I meditate, after I do my walk, because they want me focused on my walk. It's kind of like when you go for a jog, even though I don't jog, but I would imagine this is what happens. And then you eventually start coasting after like 30 minutes, and that's when your energy really kicks in. It's like a second wind, but there's like sheer clarity in your mind and coherence. That's kind of what happens with the Arcturians for me. And I'm committed to working with them for 30 days. So we don't have as many people online tonight, but I'm sure more people will come in and join us. So this is going to be a global update from the Arcturians. And I'm going to start with the first download. I don't know what sequence we're going to go in, but I'm just going to go for it. And yes, please subscribe if you haven't. Thank you for that. All right. So one of the messages I got, I believe, was yesterday morning was I was seeing how there is a lot of unprocessed, unexamined, untransmuted energies and traumas that are at the fore right now. You can see them, they're like at the foreground, okay? And it's almost like people are wearing these unresolved emotions as garments. So that energy is palpable. If you're an empath, you probably feel it all the time right now. It's been intensified. So it's almost like they've cranked the volume up on the empaths because there's a lot more information that's accessible and available. I saw that. I saw that. So the first message I got from the Arcturians was, and they gave the example of parenthood. So when you're a parent, your child is not always going to comply with your rules. Your child isn't going to always adhere to the structure that you try to place them in, whether it's a certain discipline or certain beliefs that you've adopted that you're trying to fling onto your child. So your child isn't always going to be subordinate, but you love your children anyway. And they're saying this is applicable to people who don't have children, but regardless of your differences, you're able to put that anger aside because you love your child unconditionally. And there's been a lot of aggression lately in the world. There's been a lot of passive aggressiveness as well. There's been a lot of upset. You can feel it. Again, it's thick. You can cut it with a knife. And so the Arcturians were saying it's really important that you don't treat other people who are total strangers as if they're different than your children. Because that stranger, although they're seeming differently, they're seeming to be different than you, or they're seemingly different than you, that other person, that stranger, could be your child. It could be someone else's child. And I thought that was a really beautiful, almost angelic energy around that message. And the Arcturians are all about spiritual excellence. So whenever you step out of your own alignment and you go out of bounds and you invade someone else's privacy or someone else's space, they don't see that as spiritual excellence. They don't. In their system, they're telepathic in nature. And they were telling me that the reason why I really treasure my solitude and my quietness and my silence is because I'm more of an internal journeyer. I like to journey inward. And so when there's a lot of bustle and hustle around me, like a lot of noise, I don't necessarily get irritated, but I always get the same recurring message, which is that humans have yet to learn what it's like to honor people's sacred spaces. You could be reading a book and someone will just interrupt you. That's because there's a spiritual excellence that's lacking. And the Arcturians, their star system, their planet is conducive to their own personal development. So they are all about expansion. They're all about elevation of consciousness. And so whenever there are people who impinge upon you or who intrude or invade your space, this is not excellence. But the Arcturians never judge anything. Again, they're so positively oriented that what they were telling me yesterday was, and this goes back to people who are aggressive and might attack you or lash out at you, or I call it egging you. That's my new thing. They're egging you. They're throwing all their dust and all their dirt on you. People who do that, they simply need to recognize that they're bypassing an opportunity to really hone in on that pure potential. And the Arcturians use those words verbatim. They said pure potential. Nothing is seen as bad from their vantage point. Everything is seen as a promotion or a potential promotion of further expansion. So what you would want to do in that instant where you want to attack someone because you're not able to control them is remind yourself, but I'm not trying to control my child because I love my child. And so why is it that I'm trying to control this total stranger? So what you would want to do is replace your reactiveness. You almost want to substitute it. Replace your reactiveness with how can I actualize and realize my pure potential? Because that reaction I'm about to take out on someone is pure potential that can be utilized in the direction of what I'm wanting to manifest. Okay, and the same goes for, they were using this word a lot today. They were saying crosshairs. A lot of you are probably feeling right now like you are in the crosshairs. And I asked them to jog my memory, crosshairs, like I'm not used to that word, but I saw it. You feel like you're a target right now. You feel like people are perhaps attacking you or condemning you. Maybe you're someone who doesn't wear a mask and you catch a lot of flack for that. Maybe it can be multiple situations that are happening in your life where you almost feel unsafe. The vision they were giving me is like you're an animal who's sleeping with one eye open because you don't know what's going to happen. So you have to watch your back. And that's the energy right now that's so thick in the collective. Feeling like you're in the crosshairs. Feeling like you're a target for people. And so, and by the way, I go through intensive courses. When I apply myself, I'm like, show it all to me. Like, let me attract everything I need to know to understand your teachings. And so I've been attracting a lot of different things this week that pertain to what the Arcturians wanted to present to me. Thank you so much for the donation. Oh my God. Edgar, thank you so much. That's so generous of you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Samrat. I appreciate you. Wow, I'm very grateful. Thank you. So The reason why you're going to be feeling like you're in the crosshairs right now is because, and this is what they said, is because you're shining so brightly. The star seeds have done a remarkable job at upping their brightness, at increasing their vibrational frequency. And so this is going to cause you to be more of a magnet. You're almost like this light bulb, and all the mosquitoes are flocking to you. All right. Now, they wanted me to break this down for you. There are two reasons as to why those people are gravitating to you. And I'm talking about strangers or people that you know. One, because your light, the light that you're radiating, the frequencies that you're emitting are reflective of their own divinity. And so, whether they're conscious of this or not, they're going to approach you because there's something that they're attracted to. It's your light, but it's also their own light. It's their own light that they're attracted to, that they've been denying. So they've been denying, denouncing, disowning their own light. And they see you shining brighter than ever. Okay? And they're going to approach you. So, one, because they want what you got. They want to understand what it is. So their higher self is in a way magnetizing them to you so that they can retrieve that potion or retrieve that formula. Maybe they'll ask you questions. Or it can be number two, which is that they see you, and the Arcturian said they see you as like an opening or like an open hole, and they just want to dump all their stuff on you because your light terrifies them. And rather than traveling inward, they're still getting lost in the external where you are. When in actuality, the light that you are, that light that you're beaming out and radiating, is really just reflective of their own inner light. But because they're not traveling inward and they're going outward, they're going to end up invading your privacy or invading your space, which is not excellent. But this is the thing about the Arcturians, they're very positive. So they said, in the moment that you're accosted, in the moment that you're attacked, in the moment that you're given a bad look, or whatever it might be, you have to be this column of light that holds space for all of it. And I'll tell you what happened to me today that was completely otherworldly, okay? I was out and about, and I went out with the intention of reading a book. And I couldn't get to my book because there was one person who was homeless. By the way, I like this person. I've bought this person hot chocolates and everything. But as soon as I settled into my space, they started talking really loud and they were talking at me from afar. Okay, then they went away. And then an acquaintance of mine bumped into me and he started talking my ears off, which was fine, but it lasted for a very long time. And then I'm like, okay, let's cozy up and get back to this book because I didn't get a chance to get to my book for like an hour. And the Arcturian said, focus on the page that you're on. And we want you to travel to the depths of your soul and meet. This is hard to explain. Sorry, let me get my thing, okay? My plug, 1 second. Actually, it's already here. Hold on. I don't know why it's not charging. 1 second. One second, guys. I don't want my thing to die on you guys. Very odd. 1 second. Okay, I think I got it. Yay. Okay, 1 second. Now let me get my light again. Okay. Okay, good. All right. So they said, look at the page on your book. And this is a difficult concept to convey to you guys, but I'll do my best. The intensity that's coming at you energetically, counter it by going inside. So as intense as the energy, I got it. As intense as the energy is that's trying to pull you out of your body, to distract you, to pull you into the exterior, counter it by going deeper within. And I shit you not, you guys, I was looking at my page and everything blacked out around me. And my page looked like a movie screen. Everything became like eighth dimensional. And I drowned out all the noise, all the sounds. And they were like, that's where we want you. We don't want you to get reactive. We don't want you to get irritated like nails on a scratchboard. We want you to really work with this energy and go as deep inside as you can. And it's like a tunnel. So you can actually inhale. And as you inhale, you can try to shrink your consciousness into a tiny ball and imagine that you're in a water slide. And as you inhale, you're traveling this direction. I find that it's easier to do on an inhale than an exhale because an exhalation is exterior, and an inhale is in. That's what they're saying. So anyways, so I proceeded to go to the back of the coffee shop because there were too many distractions. And I went to the back and I'm like, okay, you know, like those movies, you're like, let me cozy up. Within 10 minutes, some other business came out, 2 girls came out. Hey, you can't sit back here. And I wasn't bothering anyone, no one. It was like a crummy alleyway, and I'm good with that, okay? I can be real ghetto. But I was in a crummy alleyway, not bothering anybody. And I couldn't have my alone time. But what they said was the reason why this is going to happen exponentially for the starseeds is because we've already ascended. We are exemplifying and personifying the divine light that we are. And so it's going to act as a magnet and draw to yourself things that you then have to be unconditionally loving towards. And they're saying that the important piece is that you be unconditionally loving to yourself. Now, the other message they gave me was, when you get triggered, when someone presses your buttons, when someone does invade your privacy, you have to ask yourself, do you really want to tip back over into separateness? Do you really want to tip back over into separateness? Do you really still need the sustenance of that third dimensional energy? Do you still need that energy? Because as soon as you polarize, or as soon as you go into that negative posture or that defensiveness, what you're stating to the cosmos is that there's still a part of you that needs to feed off of that lower vibrational energy. And they said that in Arcturus, it's only excellence. There's no feeding off of lower vibrational energies. It's all about the inward path, hooking up to source from within and creating from within outward. You're creating from within outward. And on command, you can instantaneously manifest what you want because your thoughts form those realities. So we need to operate with spiritual excellence. If you see someone who's busy, maybe reading a book, maybe You could tell that they're in communion with their higher power or with their guides or with God, whatever that might be for them. If you can sense your inner perceptors are telling you this person's busy right now, don't go and intrude on their space, because to the Arcturians, that's more of a parasitic energy. And they are guardians of this galaxy. And one of their main functionalities is to keep at bay anything that's of a detrimental nature. So that was another message I got, is you will be feeling like you're in the crosshairs, like you're a target for people right now. And it is imperative that you not only not take the bait and get pulled into those external dramas, but also start working with your abilities, with those psychic faculties, to reinforce that focal point within yourself that is going to allow you to magnify your extrasensory perception, to magnify it. All right, what else do we got? They were saying that, let me think. There was another important one. Okay, I got it. Oh, this is the most important one. Whoa, I can't believe I almost forgot this. Brain fart. Okay, this was the main message they gave me right before I jumped on. And all these messages started yesterday. So I'm going to keep showing up for you guys and delivering these messages because they're coming in bit by bit by bit. This was the final message they gave me tonight. They said that this quarantine, this pandemic, is a bonding event for us. It's bonding us. And that if we were to reincarnate at another point in time, then we would have that instant recognition that we've traveled before together as souls. And they said that the reason why there's so much divisiveness right now and people aren't seeing it as such, they're not seeing it as something that's allowing us to bond, as that binding force, is because bonding can be quite petrifying. I mean, think about it. When you bond with someone, you're giving them access to your operating system. You're giving them a password to every file in your computer. And you're saying you can transparently see who I am. You now have full access to who I am, to every thought that I have. And that can be really scary for people to do so. That's why a lot of people are reluctant to become intimate. They're reluctant to become one with you, because that entails that they would have to be willing to relinquish their control and drop into vulnerability, into transparency. It would also mean that they would have to release their shame, which a lot of people keep brushing under the rug. They don't want their deep, dark secrets to be exposed. They would have to be willing to release the guilt, all of it. And that's an enormous task to ask of someone, to let me in, give me a key to your mind. But the Arcturians are highly telepathic beings. There are no secrets. They operate as a one unit. There's no, I'm above you, you're inferior to me. That doesn't exist there. And that's why they're so loving and in reverence of what we're doing right now, because we're shifting an entire collective. And so if we were to come back in another lifetime, we would bond. We wouldn't have to bond because the bond would be there. But they said to me tonight that humans are slow learners. We're very slow learners because we like to compartmentalize everything. We like to place things in different frames to have a sense of continuity. This happened, and then that happened, and then that happened. And I love how they're tying this together. They're saying if we all treated each other as if we were each other's children, then we would fast track ourselves through this ascension program. And so right now, we're perceiving this quarantine as a negative. I'm sure some of you are seeing it as a positive. I know I am, because the awakening is happening so fast. But I'm sure that the majority of humans, and I'm not speaking on behalf of the Arcturians, I'm speaking on behalf of myself right now, I feel like the majority of humans probably regard this as a negative thing. And everyone has their idea of you should do this or you shouldn't do that. You should wear a mask, you shouldn't wear a mask. I had a lovely conversation with someone today, that acquaintance of mine, who was wearing a mask and I wasn't. He said, so you don't wear one when you walk around? I said, no, I don't. But he was so respectful. He was so kind. And we were able to agree to disagree and talk about how my beliefs don't align with the mask and his does. And then he said something to the effect of, I feel like we're all meant to be on the same page. And I said, I don't think it was ever designed that way. I don't think we were ever designed to be on the same page, because everyone has their distinctive frequency. Everyone has their own personalities. And if you think about it, how can we ascend an entire collective if we all look the same? If we all act the same? We can't. So what makes this playground of planet Earth, or this school, this academy of planet Earth, so magical and so unique is that every single person carries a different DNA, carries a different set of beliefs, carries a different set of programs and of opinions and biases and likes and dislikes. And so from that perspective, everyone acts as a mirror. So there's all these frequencies firing off at us constantly. But what a gift that is. It's such a privilege to be on this planet at this time. Because if we can just bring all of these things to the surface and decide, hey, I respect your belief. I mean, could you imagine if you went to a Muslim country and you started condemning people for wearing veils? I mean, that's their belief. We have to respect each other. And I think that we've overcomplicated our existence in many ways because we got so lost in the external dramas by not wanting to deal with our own internal dramas. And so it's easier to think, oh, I wish everyone was on the same page, because then you wouldn't have to do the legwork. You wouldn't have to do the legwork to clear or uninstall or deprogram yourself. But there's a lot more merit and a lot more reward and fulfillment if you can say, everyone's different. Everyone has their own beliefs. And that's going to give rise within myself. It's going to give rise to certain emotions and certain energies that have probably been with me for lifetimes. And maybe I just need to respect everyone around me and instead do the internal work and focus on myself. And we will never really be able to develop these skills that the Arcturians have, or these higher dimensional beings have, unless we condense and compress our energy within ourselves. We drown out the noise, okay? And we start, you see what I mean? You're condensing the energy within your own body system. And by means of doing that, your light, all that energy that you're holding in, is going to start to switch on your DNA. But if you're always getting lost in the external game, falling asleep, dictating how people should live and how people should behave, then you're not bringing that energy inside to activate that dormant DNA. So it's about spiritual excellence. That was the message I had for you tonight. So Let me just do a quick recap. Remember to treat others as if they were your children. Your children aren't always going to agree with you. You're not always going to see eye to eye. But do you have to slice each other's necks? No. You're going to love your child unequivocally and unconditionally. So start seeing others as if they were your child, or as if they are a child of someone else who is loved unconditionally by another parent. And then the second point was, ask yourself, do you really still want that lower dimensional food, that lower dimensional energy? And so you have to catch yourself in time. If there's an outer distraction, remember, you're here to be an athlete, to develop spiritual stamina of your inward focus. There are always going to be different distractions and different diversions and noise. That's something you can't stop unless you move to the country. That will always come at you. But are you going to tip over into unconsciousness and start fueling off of that lower energy? Because the minute that you get reactionary, the minute that you get defensive, the minute that you justify yourself, the minute that you start to place strong, like mean boundaries, right? Not the good boundaries, but like strong, leave me alone. The second that you do that, you're basically implying that you still need that third dimensional food. Instead, go within, amplify your light. You're going to see your glow grow. You're going to see your glow grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And everything outside of you is just going to cease. And so that's the other thing I wanted to share. And what was the final point? Yes, this is a bonding moment for all of us. And we are going to be closer than ever, either in this life, I believe it'll be in this life, or in another life. And because of this event that we all went through together, because these are unprecedented times. We've never been through this before, not like this. And so rather than deeming it a negative thing, start viewing it as something positive. And can you start aligning your frequency with that future frequency of how this is serving us? How this is helping us to harmonize as humans. And believe me when I tell you, you don't want to be in a sterilized version of reality, in a homogenized version of reality where everyone is the same. Everyone has the same eye color, everyone has the same skin color, everyone has the same everything. It's so boring. This is a living library. Planet Earth is a living library of information. Every lifetime that we've had, every star race, every intelligence is on this planet right now. It's all in your DNA, and you're interacting and intermingling with other beings who have DNA. Some have more predominant DNA, Arcturian DNA. Some have more predominant reptilian DNA. And the key is to remove all judgment. All of it. And, they said to me earlier today, wow, we have 1,100 people in the house and it's pretty late. That's pretty good. They said to me, and I loved what they said. I saw it so clearly. They said, your earthbound beliefs, your fear-based beliefs, they act as dividers. And the Arcturian showed me, remember those dividers you had in school? You would divide the subjects. I had that. The beliefs act as dividers between all of your timelines. And unless we really start doing our due diligence to eliminate these dividers, we will never vibrate in unison with one another, ever. So we want to start harmonizing, synchronizing with one another. And remember, if someone attacks you because they don't agree with you, then they're still running a hierarchical structure within their body. Remember, 3D was a structure. They were constructs that were rooted in hierarchy, thinking you're superior or inferior, thinking that you know more than another. which also acts as a divider. And what we're starting to remember is that no one was ever better than anyone else. The Arcturians aren't better than us. The Pleiadians aren't better than us. They just have a different set of rules, a different set of laws. And they love what we're doing. They watch us in amazement every day at what we're able to do. So I love you guys so much. Thank you for the donations tonight. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I hope you're enjoying these Arcturian messages. If you would like to donate, which I really appreciate, my link is feelgoodlife.com/donate. feelgoodlife.com/donate. Don't feel obligated to, though. I appreciate you for being here. I appreciate you for investing in yourself. I appreciate you for bearing your light, your multidimensionality on humanity. I appreciate you for all that you are. And one more thing as a closing, the Arcturians said tonight, they said, thank you for all that you are. Thank you for, they said this, hold on. Thank you for all that you are. Thank you for all that you do. And thank you for all that you aspire to be. They said that precisely. Thank you for all that you are. Thank you for all that you do. And thank you for all that you aspire to be. That's from the Arcturians. So I love you, and I will see you in another version of it now. I'll attach my link below if you want to donate. If not, I love you. Take care, guys.